Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
Good evening. I hope everyone is having a wonderful night like I am. Fantastic evening here at the Jersey Shore. I have local summer, so it's kind of clearing out. All the locals have emptied the streets, and I'm starting to get my beaches back, so it's been really nice. But this is Michael Edley, psychic medium, one of your hosts for Two Psychics, and I am here with my fantastic co-host, Mary Amy. What is going on, Mary Amy? How are you?
Hi, Michael. How are you? I'm doing fabulous. Here we are, Two Psychics, episode 28, all about the metaphysical, and we have a guest, Joan Carra, psychic medium.
Nice. The metaphysical. I think we can talk about that for a little bit, huh?
Yes, I have a little bit of input. I know you have a lot, and it's a very, I believe, complex word, and we'll get into that. Let's see. Here we are. I'm coming live from New York. You're coming from the Jersey Shore. Two psychics, and tonight, who knows what's going to happen with technology because we have three psychics on.
Keeping it interesting. Making sure that energy is flowing.
Yeah, and I will give a little explanation about Joan and who she is before we bring her on shortly. Tonight, if we have time, I'll do a visualization, and we will have some call-ins for psychic readings. Maybe we'll get Joan to do some psychic readings with us, which would be fun, absolutely fun.
That would be excellent.
So I have a little nut of information about what happened to me this week. Oh, I hear ringing. Who's calling us?
Ringing, huh?
And what's going on with you?
Connecting the spirit. Yeah, there is a phone line somewhere in the not so distant world of telephone lines. I'm hearing it.
Okay.
Wait, is it gone now? I think it's gone now. No, it's good. I'm enjoying almost finishing up my meditation album. So just mastered the final song of that, putting that together. So have to finalize the artwork. So I'm very excited about that. So I will have my meditation album that will be available on all platforms. And it has a lot of hemisync, binaural tones, and a lot of things to get you into the zone when you don't think you can get into the zone, and you don't need to sit on a rock like a Buddhist monk for several hours in the forest. It's really cool stuff, so I've been pretty excited about that. But I've been doing a lot of readings. I've had some galleries that have sold out, which has been really cool. I have a couple things brewing, a couple things in the works that I'll be filling everyone in on in the next few weeks. Some cool stuff that's going to be unfolding. Some Two Psychics cool stuff will be unfolding, and so it's been good getting ready for this fall season, getting ready for all the pumpkin spice overflow. The world of orange will take over, and pumpkin scent will be everywhere.
I do love this time of year. I get very excited about dressing up for Halloween, and I usually go to a costume party.
Nice. What are you gonna dress up as?
I don't know. I do it. I come up with a couple of schemes, plans, and then I execute one of them, or I go to multiple parties and wear different costumes. But I have a whole, wardrobe of costumes.
Ah, very cool, very cool.
Okay, so I'm going to get into it because I can't wait any longer. I've got to tell you what happened to me. What happened to me? Okay,
what is going on?
So what happened was, this was so bizarro. All right, now I don't know if everyone was here last week and they were listening to our show. But we had this guest, and his name was Daniel Scratton, and he was coming from, where was it, Australia or Hawaii?
Yeah. Austria, was he Austria or Australia?
Australia. And he had a whole adventurous life following his journey. And if you want to listen to that episode last week, that was actually episode 29, I think, even though this is 28, because I kind of got the numbers mixed up. But anyway, back to Daniel. So he is this channeler. And if you listen to the episode, you will hear him go through the process of channeling the Arcturian Council. And for those of you out there who aren't aware, Arcturians are a species of extraterrestrials off planet. Well, I listened to that. We talked to him. It was a wonderful show. The next morning, the very first thing that I heard after I woke up was a song going off in my mind. Now, I am not musical in any sense of the word. I've told you I can't even sing Happy Birthday. Michael's musical. I'm not. I had a speech problem. I can't sing. I have no skill set for this. Well, I heard this song. What was the song? It was Aerosmith, Dream On. Now, I heard that, and I heard it like it was right here in the room with me. Multiple times in the most arbitrary time of the day for the next few days, this song would go off. It was no indication of anything but that. Okay, so I heard this song over and over again. Now, if anyone knows the words, dream on till you, what is the phrase? Dream on till, Michael, do you know it?
I do, and the phrase escapes me. Dream on. I forget off the top of my head, okay, but well, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so I'm scrolling till I get it right now because I'm going to tell you what the phrase is.
Yeah, the old Aerosmith
right.
song.
And so
it's a very good song.
The words, I think, were what I was supposed to dream until the dream come true, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right. So I'm like, what is this an indication of? It's like cryptic, right? Who's sending this to me? Are the Arcturians sending this to me? Now, what are they referring to? Well, I'm like, okay, the song keeps going on. It's kind of distracting. It's kind of strange, but we know that I've already had, telepathic communications with extraterrestrials. So I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Now, I've been planning this proposal of doing this communications, which I'm not going to get into because I have to execute it first. So I sit down and I start writing down information and researching it. Now, what do you think happens? The song stops going off in my head. And that night, I have a lucid dream where I wake up in the middle of the night and I see this gray alien behind a tree, and it's right there vividly, and it's moving back and forth, blinking and waving at me and smiling. And that's what happened. So
interesting.
It was like, okay, we can rationalize and say, oh my gosh, you know this song, you heard it, you probably went off, and your intuition or, whatever, you had this sense about doing it. But I don't like that interpretation. I like it. It's because the Arcturians were sending it to me.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Now, did anything else come to you about like the dream on or dreams, or was it just that period of time and then that was it? Or
that was it. It just came, but it would come on, and it was so strange because I don't remember words, lyrics, nothing. Like I said, no musical sense. No, but it came on. It was like full blast in my head, going off really loud. And, so I had that, and something else happened that was a little disturbing, but I'm not going to talk about that part of it, that happened yesterday. But I'm just going to pursue putting this proposal together, and that's, if anyone wants to kind of send me a message, now you can follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. You can follow us here. You can call in. We have callers. I have many callers waiting, and I do have Joan Carra in the green room. Joan, I know you're hearing us right now. We are going to present you in a few minutes. So should I just go ahead and mention what metaphysical is, and then we'll bring Joan on?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. All right, so I usually come up with topics. We kind of discuss things, Michael and I, and he kind of gives me free reign. And I know that if he wasn't approving, he would just send me a message in the week when I decide what the topic is, or we decide. So metaphysical, what is that exactly? Well, metaphysical, it's apparently a synonym to the Latin word supernatural, and it's derived from metaphysics. It's about understanding existence and knowledge, which is the nature of being and the universe. Metaphysical is above the physical, beyond what humans perceive, and, of course, lacks evidence. So there is a faith factor there. Metaphysical is part of spirituality. Here's some examples. Nature of reality. What is real? Reality, imaginary, real existing in the universe. And these are questions, and I'm posing them to you. So, a lot of the time we are bringing up subjects that we don't have evidence. They are in the realm of faith-based or supernatural or paranormal. And I guess that metaphysical lies under that because, it's up for interpretation, explaining mysteries, universal truths, space and time, the relationship between matter and mind, illusions of the brain. I believe that you should be open-minded and have an open heart, and this probably is independent of existence. And that's what I have about metaphysical. What do you would like to share, Michael, about metaphysical?
It's interesting. I have to agree. Exactly. A lot of times we want to look at this as something that's, the occult or paranormal, and that, the paranormal phenomena. But that's truly what it is. It's the metaphysical. It's beyond the physical, beyond these five senses. And it's everything we talk about. It's that psychic, intuitive connection to everything. It's utilizing our psychic senses, utilizing our chakra system, the auric field. It's all these things that are beyond the physical. And that's what we say. We have no proof, but truly, I think it's just in this day and age of this society, a lot of people don't want to see the proof. People like you, like me, that have had near-death experiences or work with this energy and have seen how profound it can be, we know there is a metaphysical, there is a metaphysical universe. There is a metaphysical world around us. I think it's just a matter of opening our eyes and tuning into it. But yeah, absolutely. The metaphysical, I think it's something that goes back really far. It's another one of those things that we talk about. This isn't something new. This isn't some new cutting edge knowledge that we're just coming across now. This is something that's gone back for centuries, through ancient philosophy, just ancient study of the sciences. So yeah, metaphysical is the aspects beyond this physical realm that we can see, and I think it's absolutely something that needs to be tuned into, absolutely something that we can focus our energy in on. And we could say, wow, I'm hearing other voices, and I'm hearing all these little things around me, and I really am in my headphones. So I think we may have some crosstalk, Mary Amy, or another state coming through. But the metaphysical is so important to just be open to it, tune in, and expand upon it.
I like that we have these discussions and these topics because it's about questioning. It is about the mysteries of the universe, and so much of what we talk about and we bring up here is metaphysical. And all right, well, so tonight it's episode 28, and we have a guest this evening, Joan Carra, who's a psychic medium. Now, Joan, I've known for I don't even know, maybe 5 or 6 or more years, because Joan actually has been a reader at many of the fairs that Michael and I both attended. And maybe, in fact, she was there when we both were giving readings in New York City or Connecticut or New Jersey. So Joan Carra grew up in a metaphysical family. Her father had an occult library, and her mother and aunt were highly intuitive. She's a great personality, by the way. I'm going to throw that in there. So psychic phenomenon was natural and not supernatural. Joan gives guidance on matters of the heart and business and can help you overcome blocks. She is also a gifted medium and can connect with those who have passed. She gives spiritual counseling and is recognized in 7 books, including the first edition of the 100 Top Psychics in America, Psychic New York, The Rational Psychic, and she's been interviewed in WAG Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, the Daily News, in which she predicted the flooding in New York City. She is a contributing editor for the series Harmony and Chakras, Volumes 1 through 3. She taught at Lily Dale Assembly, the Edgar Case Center, the Wainwright House in Rye, as well as other venues. Now, you can reach Joan after this. You can check her out while we're having this interview tonight with her at her website, Psychic Joan Carra. It's spelled P-S-Y-C-H-I-C, Joan, J-O-A-N, and Carra, C-A-R-R-A.net. So let's bring Joan on, and we want to hear much more about her. And I know she gives readings, and she does tea leaves at parties and events, and leads group seances, and she's wonderful. So here she is. Where are you, Joan? Hey, Joan.
I'm muted.
No, you're here right now.
No, we can hear you.
I haven't used the earphones. I usually do the iPhone. But, so this is my debut with the earphones. And I wanted to tell, first of all, thank you so much, Mary and Michael. And Mary is really a delight. And the metaphysical, this came to me. My soul met my physical body.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little.
That's an excellent catchphrase. If you had to sum it up in one sentence, I think that could definitely be it. So how are you, Joan? Yeah, what is going on?
I won't go too much with my chronic sinuses have a cure. I just had this sinus balloon procedure. Now, it's all micro. Don't think of a party balloon. But I had that last Wednesday, so it's going to take a while for everything to heal, and then I will be able to breathe. And breath means life and spirit. So decades of being reinfected or not being able to, just sinus headaches. So I'm happy that they finally figured something out. They actually this little.
I know the struggle. I know spring and fall. These the 2 seasons.
Yeah, mine's all year round, and it's
okay.
Yeah, and what's interesting is it's the head chakra. And I'm an Aries, and one time someone asked when I started my career, all the psychics were asking, what sign do you think has the most psychics? Now, I'm talking about at that time of the people I met. So we all assumed Pisces, Scorpio, but when we counted, there was a lot of Aries who were psychics, and we thought, all right, that's the third eye. And we were surprised. And also, it's people who like to do their own business, have their own business, which is the Aries. Because being a psychic, I taught a class once. First, nobody wanted it for years. It was the practical side, the business side of being a practitioner. And they said, that's not spiritual enough. And then one of my friends, who's a flower reader, he had a book called Even Mystics Have to Pay the Rent. And it was interesting because I'm from the old school about advertising. It wasn't so much on the internet, but it's about showing up and taking the risk. And as Mary said, doing the fairs, lecturing. I used to do print ads, and now she's the more advanced person with the blog radio. So there is a business side to it, and like any job, you have to be accountable and responsible and schedule and all those kind of things. So whatever my day jobs were that I hated, they all came of use. Even the bookkeeping, the PR, the company.
All happened for a reason. It all happened for a reason, right?
So you never know in
That's
life.
excellent. So, Joan, where are you calling? Like, where do you reside now? Or you're in the States,
I've
correct?
been in Greenwich, Connecticut for quite a while, and guess what?
Nice.
I moved up with the circus. And I literally mean that. Now, you're going to say, Joan, what circus is in Connecticut, right? I was working for the party agents, and this is before they had 100,000 party agents. I was coming. First, I was in Manhattan for a long time. Then I was in Queens, and there was the Queens Psychic Club. I was blessed with that. And I got hired to work either corporate events in Westchester or Connecticut or New York City, and these big fancy mansion parties, usually investment bankers. So I was coming up here all the time. So I wanted to move, and I kept thinking, I have to have access to New York City, and I have to have access to Connecticut. Now, I'm from Long Island originally, so Westchester, we considered that upstate. I had no knowledge of it. So I did a vision board. I cut out from the magazines when we had magazines, and I said I want more like nature and garden and all this. And then the corner of my eye. This is before the internet was so big. You do everything on the internet. I see the corner of my eye, a really good rent for Greenwich, Connecticut, with a pond. And then when I came up, they go, well, the price in the New York Times is wrong. It's less. And the landlord give you
that may be a sign.
And the bus was on the corner for a New York City girl who doesn't drive. And the neighbor came out. This is a funny story. This is very psychic. The next door neighbor came out, and she found that I was a psychic. And then she runs back in, and she has the James Van Prague book that she was reading, and she tells me, the person from the apartment complex who's showing me the tour, and she goes, I love the beach. I was at the beach. Nothing pulls me away from the beach, but I heard in my head, go home. And I'm like, why? And she just said, she kept hearing, go home, go home, go home. So she went home, and then she finds out I'm a psychic. So she felt, she's reading the James Van Prague book, and she was called home to meet me, and she sold me on the apartment and the location. Isn't that wild?
You were meant to be neighbors.
Yeah, we were like sister friends. Yeah,
it's interesting how that happens.
Yeah,
well, very, very cool. So you're on the East Coast with us, with Mary and myself. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
What I always find fascinating talking to medium, being a medium and just knowing that, it can happen and it can unfold in many different ways. I'm just curious to know, like, your story of a young child. Is this something you experienced early on? Did you start seeing
really.
spirit?
No.
Okay.
No.
How did it start to unfold around
Well, my
you?
aunt would read cards first and read the coffee grind, but she didn't do that in public, because in those days, you didn't. You kept it a secret.
Yeah.
So I didn't say I want to do this when I grow up. I was the last thing on my bucket list. But everything, I was just having a very difficult time and emotionally things were difficult. I kind of surrendered and had this spiritual awakening, and I still wasn't a psychic. But then it was like, my day jobs weren't working out. And I was like working for friends, or I'd get fired from a day job, or a job I loved would end. So someone, actually one of my friends, she was actually promoting a mother and son psychic team to Japan. So so I read her, and then the coworker wanted. He was in grad school at NYU, and the deal was he was going to give me a gym pass where he worked, and he gave me money. I said, "Are you crazy?" He said, "Joan, you should do this." I said, "No, there's no way. I'm not going to do this." And he said, "But Joan." And I had just lost the 2 jobs when I ended or whatever. I couldn't really get much unemployment. One was a W-2 and the other one wasn't. So he pushed me find a restaurant. And, of course, I find a restaurant. She had Astrology Cafe in the back, the first vegetarian restaurant in New York City. And I worked, first I'm a, part-time substitute. Then I have 1 day. Then I have 2 days. And then I found the Queen Psychic Club by chance, and everything was guiding me to this. And I was 40 years old. I was not, these kids now when I work in the city at a New Age shop, they're 17, 18, and I call them the professors. I'm like, and a lot of them do say it's from their family, okay? A lot do. So, and a lot of them are, one of the psychics told me in astrology, we were talking about this, and she said, they're the Harry Potter generation. So they were exposed to this. So, but it's not just that. I think it's just you have the psychics on TV. There was no such thing when I was growing up.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely all over, and people are definitely more tuned into it now, more open to it. I think people are more open to speaking about it. It's more mainstream. Where absolutely, even much of my life couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
This other alter ego or this other life we're living, or, this other world of things going on. So it's interesting seeing it becoming so mainstream. Now, was there a religious background to your family, a religious aspect that kind of?
Well, my mom did. Not Catholic, but the Italians aren't Catholic like the Irish. They don't trust the priest. And my mom, she was into all this stuff, and she called herself a white witch. She was always, being Italian. We have these curses, and she was going to getting these candles from this woman who she said was from Persia. I went once. I think it was out in Brooklyn. She had incense, and my mom was so into protecting us from. My mom just seemed to. It's an Italian thing, you have a curse on this and that. So my mom was constantly trying to protect us, and a lot of candles.
No, it's interesting though, because it almost it kept you open to that aspect of, hey, there is something metaphysical. There is something
and every
else.
time I go to the New Age store, I'm at Om Shanti in the city, New York City, on Tuesdays, and there's incense, there's the books like my dad, there's all this stuff, and I go, well, I guess this is from childhood.
comes full circle.
And it wasn't something like it's interesting also. I had an interest in psychology when I was young. My older sister, when she went to college, I was still in junior high. She majored in education, but she minored in psychology, and I read all the books. And I thought it was fascinating, but I was at the time of the Beatles, and you're like, I want to do something creative. I don't want to, be a counselor. And I was very shy. I was nobody believes me. I was the quietest person in the whole school, the class blusher. And a lot of intuitives are in your head a lot, and a listener is part of our job, but I always tell the shy kids, well, don't worry. You'll be like me. You get paid to talk when you grow up.
Yeah. No, that's very cool. One thing I find very interesting, a phenomenal place that I love, that I was able to spend a little bit of time there, but is Lilydale. So now I know Mary Amy had talked about, you had taught at Lilydale. Can you tell us a little bit about Lilydale?
Wow.
Some of your experiences there, because I think anyone that's here on the East Coast, if they haven't been to Lilydale, you should definitely take a visit there. Amazing, amazing place. And that's what I also say is anyone that doesn't believe in mediumship or psychic abilities is spend a weekend there. And I don't think there's any way you could leave there without going, wow, there's something metaphysical happening in this world. It's a great place. But what were your experiences in Lilydale?
Well, first I went as a visitor to see, and my first time it was, I went by myself, and then a woman came up to me and said, you don't know me, but I know you. I used to be the guest medium at the Spiritualist Church in Greenwich. She said, I've seen you do the demonstrations many times at the church. So she like took care of me. She was staying in a fancy place in town, and that was great. I don't drive, so, you know, and we were friends, and that was one aspect that was very great. And then let me just think. The first time it was wonderful because you're like in this magical world. Like I did the fairy garden, and there's also this little people put little statues, and you're in these little, people make these little like homes for the fairies, and then you go into the pet cemetery, which is very moving. And the landscape is, you know, it's like rural, and it's near the lake. You know, you have access to see a lake. And then they have the stump where you can, the visiting psychic can, you know, do a readings there in front of the big group.
That's pretty amazing, the stump, too. The energy around it was unbelievable. And I think, didn't they say, isn't Lilydale, isn't it part of, like, the oldest Indian burial grounds or something on like the northeast? I think there was something to do, and the stump was like one of the oldest trees on the property or something to that effect. It was really interesting.
Oh, that I don't remember, but that's great to know about.
Yeah. I remember the energy though. Like my experience around the stump was it was so moving, because what had happened was I was up there spending, you know, a couple of days there, and going to classes, some workshops. And I was actually standing at the stump. It was me and a friend of mine, and we were gonna leave. I just wanted to take a look because we got there the night before, so we were, you know, we just got in, and it started raining, and I literally was standing right next to the stump. It was not getting wet, and I could put my hand out, and it was raining on my hand, and it was almost like there was this ring of energy around me, and it was just one of the most surreal experiences I had. And it just got crazier and cool. I should say it got more mystical and more supernatural the longer I was there. So I would definitely tell anyone, if you haven't had a chance to visit Lilydale and you're into anything metaphysical, definitely go there.
Yeah, you should definitely go. And they certify the mediums, and you could, if you're part of them, you can buy a little home there. You have to fix it up a bit, but it's all women. So if you're single, you may not want to go.
It's a whole.
I just want to tell you an interesting experience I did have. Now, I don't know if this is my second time this happened or the first time. So I kept hearing, you know, a message. There's a woman. Give the message about the woman who cooks with rose water, which, you know, is like Mid-Eastern. But they kept telling me, well, you can't go on the stump as promised today because we're going to do a students. And then the next day it was delayed. So I had to wait 3 days before I could do it. And I said, oh, my God, do I give this message now? Maybe she's not here. I did anyway. And a woman raised her hand. She says, that's my aunt. She always cooked with rose water. So it's funny. Even though I wasn't going to do it, you know, the next day, and I waited, it still was the right person was there, almost like I had to wait so that person could show up.
Yeah, it's just an amazing thing. I had a really bizarre experience myself. I had lost, it was a healing scarf I was bringing home from my wife, and I had misplaced it, and I was literally guided by spirit throughout like a several-hour process, and I found it, and it was like, wow, there are no, you know, by chance things happening. This is all meant for a reason, how it unfolded. And it was really wild for me, but I loved my experience there, and that's what I would tell anyone, you know, if you can spend a few days and, you know, take some classes, you know, go see some of the galleries they do. Yeah, take a walk through the fairy garden. The fairy.
Oh, I had another interesting experience. I saw that a friend that I met at the Queen Psychic Club, that now he lives in Woodstock, that he was going to teach, but it was a week after me. And so I enter where I'm staying, and I say to myself, too bad Adam's coming in next week, because I'm here now. Who shows up but Adam and his son? I said, what are you doing here? You teach next week. He said they have like the teenage week. So my son's here as part of the program for teenagers.
Oh, nice.
So it was wonderful to hook up with him. Yeah,
cool.
It's always like amazing.
So, Joan, I just was trying to, in my mind, go back and figure out how did you and I connect? Now, I'm looking back scrolling through my emails, and it was back in December of 2020, and I asked you to be on one of my shows that I was hosting. But I don't even know. I know that we were circling around the same events, the same areas.
The Awaken Fair. You said you knew me. You saw me at the Awaken Fair. I was doing a lot of lectures, like for Paula.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's where we met. Oh no, yes, that and the holistic networking.
That was it, the holistic network. So I was a member of that. Yes, in Westchester. And then we proceeded to kind of go to events, and you brought me to the New Dawn Foundation.
Yeah, I was just there today.
About here. Oh, you were there today? That's where the sweat lodges are. The sweat lodges.
Yeah, she's doing one soon. And this sweat lodge, you get Indian Lakota names. This is a special one.
Have you done the sweat lodge too, Joan? Like Mary
I did it in Mexico. But I told them when I went in, and it's a little different because it's like a clay. It's like you're in a clay pot in a way. I said, listen, I have low blood pressure. And she said, all right, you're going to be the last one in and the first one out. So that's what I did. I was a little afraid because they said I can only handle the sauna so much. And I didn't do it yet. I was thinking, because the way she was talking at this sweat lodge, I said, finally, well, I'm free that day. Maybe I should go. So who knows? I may do it.
Yeah, well, if you want the whole lowdown another time, I'll explain to you. It's a whole day fiasco. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, I'll tell you all about it in detail because I've been to two of them. I only lasted less than 5 minutes, and I couldn't take it.
Oh, you went to hers? You went to the sweat lodge in New Dawn?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
So, I would
very
be afraid.
Serious.
Then.
It's very, very serious. It's serious business.
Yeah. I'm glad you told me because, as I said, when I was at that other place and they call it something different, I said, listen, I don't last long. And luckily I was able to stay, but no, that's a very interesting thing. It's not fair. You know, when I met a Native American Indian, he said, I'm not Lakota, and he said, we don't do it in our practice, and I can't handle that. I'm not doing it. So you don't have to do all these things that people say to do.
No, but it's a lot. Look, it's beneficial to some people, and what resonates doesn't resonate with everyone. I had so many exciting experiences with you. We went to some events together. You met
the art gallery. Yeah.
The art gallery.
And you were, and I saw when I got interviewed with you, and there was you do beautiful artwork, and I wanted you to. I managed the art gallery at the YWCA, and I wanted you to do a showing.
Ooh, there you go, Mary.
I did email you, but maybe at that time maybe she wasn't ready. But
get your artwork.
She's a very
talented
artwork
out there.
Mary, you are a super talented woman. I mean, the artwork was so professional looking, and she has this beautiful trained voice. I think you were an actress. She does everything, and a mom, which is probably a very big talent. That's the most responsible one. And her daughter, I'm so proud of you. I saw she's in a play now, right?
Well, she did some plays, and she graduated from an acting school in the city, and now she lives in the city and she works in the city. So she's, we'll have to all catch up, and you'll have to see her again. But when we did get together, remember you read our tea leaves or coffee grinds, and you spoke about seances. Can you tell us some experiences that you've had doing those two particular, I guess you could say, supernatural gifts?
Well, the tea leaves are always, my classes for that are becoming more popular. I think it's the only class that people want. It's very interesting. Now, it's a very different kind of psychic reading than, an in-depth with the cards. Let me just think of some examples. I had one. I have an exciting thing. I was invited by Plaza Hotel to be their tea leaf reader in October. They're working on the logistics, so I had to meet with them to show, look, I need a bowl and this kind of tea and that, So I read them. And one of the ladies, the young girls, I also read the plates. The plate, I said, look, I see the number 7. Anybody born in July? He said, yeah, my father and my sister. And then I saw the number 1. Oh, July 1st. She goes, that's my father's birthday. I look in the cup, and I see like this hunting rifle. I said, hunting rifle? She says, my father does that. I said, your father keeps coming up in the cup. She said, and her family's in California, and, I was reading her in New York City. She said, I visited them like last week or so, and my father said, you're not paying enough attention to me. So he wanted to talk to her more. So he came up. His presence was in her teacup.
Wow. That's
How do you like that for extending the aura?
Extending the aura. Daddy.
That's pretty wild.
Like funny things you see. And then the seances, one story, and this one, you have tears of joy. It's not, some of the stories aren't easy, but you bring some healing to it. One was interesting. I had a small group, and I turned to this woman, and I said, there's a gentleman who died in a motorcycle accident. She says, no, I don't know him. I asked the group. Nobody knows him. And then I talk about a little child, which was her boss's son. And we're closing up the circle. And I go, excuse me, I'm sorry, but the man who died in the motorcycle accident insists that he be recognized. And I said, who is it? And the woman who I asked in the beginning said, that's my brother. I said, oh, why didn't you want to acknowledge him? She said, because I came for my coworker son. She just lost a little boy, and I really just wanted the message for him. Oh, I said, that's understandable, but your brother just wants to give a message to you, and a beautiful message to the sister. But he wouldn't let me close up shop unless he had his say. See, it's like the door opens, having a party. People come in. But that was interesting because that was like, I'm resisting, but no. And he got through the message, yeah. But that was admirable. She really just wanted to comfort her friend.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you find this? Have you had a mediumship reading where you start bringing through someone's loved one and they really don't want to talk to that person?
Oh, yeah.
That puts an interesting spin on it. What's been your experience with something like that?
Well, one was interesting because, abusive father. And what he finally said was, son, I want to have the relationship that I didn't have with you. I want to be the father that I wasn't. Because while you are in therapy, I'm in therapy with you. And I'm understanding better. Now, they do review their life. And so that was good for him. Other people were, I had a funny one. It's funny and sad, very funny and sad. A woman, her husband died. I see your husband's coming around the house looking at it. Tell her to get lost. He's not allowed in my house. And she found that he cheated.
Oh no!
He had an accident from. So it was like telling me he can never come as a spirit. So I had to, and get lost is right. So, and she was, and she was an Italian one with an accent, so it was like tough, But sometimes people just. I've had other ones where, Michael, you probably had it where, all right, forget them. I really want this person,
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or they have their secret code word or something that has to be said or mentioned.
Oh, no, I didn't have. You had those?
Oh, yeah, I've had those.
Tough.
And I'm very glad, though, I didn't know about things like that prior to it happening because that would put, like, the difficulty level on, all the way up. And I'm like, Yeah, it's interesting. I think that's what happens, though. At some point, people think the medium, can just kind of open up and pull in whoever. And it's really, it's a language of energy. It's a three-way connection, and there's so many variables. And we would love to bring through that exact special person. but we can't always guarantee it, and hopefully in the reading, some way, shape, or form, they get the message through, but
yeah. And
but
sometimes
yeah,
you get a share, like you're in a group. Sometimes it's a shared reading.
yeah.
I had one, the Queen Psychic Club. Now I'm on the stage, and I invited a few people on the stage, and I start talking about a lady who was a hairdresser, and I give the name. 3 people said they knew her, but when I asked, it was all different beauty parlors. So it was 3 different spirits with the same name who were hairdressers.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and sometimes they'll use that to try to get like a multiple, multifaceted message across to multiple people, or interesting how
some of them are just something amazing. Like I met a group, and I'm like, oh, the lady who passed, the person who passed it, those tin of mints, the mints, and you carry them in a tin. So they were all laughing. Oh, Grandma, she always had that, and we put that in the coffin with her. Then, after I moved from her, they bring some people, Joan, come this way, and there's a woman crying. And she presents me a tin of mints. She says, open. She opened it for me, and it was I hope I say it right, the Purple Cross of Honor for military.
Oh, wow, okay.
She was engaged to a soldier, and she was very upset. He gave her the, that she cherished. But he wasn't doing well, and I believe he killed himself. So she's been upset because she really loved him. And, you try to help people, and you don't, even if you see the signs, even the doctors can't prevent it sometimes. But she had the tin, the mint tin, not easy to say, yeah. So it's just from funny to sad, or the mint tin. And it's funny because you go, a lot of people they just go in the room and say heart attack, who had cancer, whatever. I said, I don't do that. I'm giving you a mint tin. I'm giving you something more detailed, or some smell, and like even the food. That's why psychics get back, because we're just eating all this food. Well, we sit a lot. We really sit a lot. And if we're invited to the party, that's
what it is. We're always part of the party.
Yeah.
No, what I find, these stories are fascinating, Joan, but what I find even more interesting is before you really had an understanding of what was going on, and you really understood this whole, psychic mediumship thing and what was happening around you, what were some early experiences, or was there like one thing that stands out that really threw you off and you were like, wow, there is something going on. I'm seeing dead people, or I'm talking to Grandma that's no longer here. Like what was the situation?
It wasn't the mediumship. It was when I had like a spiritual awakening. I was on like the wrong path and just was praying, and what the hell happened to me? And I saw a light beam hit my eye, and then another light beam from, I was on the 2nd floor at my parents' house, and the light beam came from above, and it was like this peace, forgiving, this oneness. I said, oh, wow. This is a big experience. Then I had, when my mother had cancer, I go in the room, I come out, I couldn't sleep, so I go to the kitchen, and my mom wasn't there. That was the whole point. I go to the kitchen, and I had to hold on to the wall. The room turned red and slanted. Wait, was my mom? My mom was sitting there, yeah. The room turned red, slanted. I was losing my balance. Then I see my mother's face. I see her losing her hair, and then I see her deteriorate and become a skeleton. So I knew she was going to die. But at that point, she had a full set of hair. Then they switched medicine, and then she lost her hair, and then eventually died. Not a long way, there. But that was like, I didn't experience anything like that, and I have not experienced anything like that since. Like being in a different dimension of time. Wow.
Yeah, so that was like a really supernatural experience that just kind of shook things up for you, huh?
And I still was not a psychic after that. It still took a while. So It wasn't, yeah.
Joan, did you have, I'm curious, I don't think I've ever asked you this, prior to you around, within the time period before you had your spiritual awakening, did you have any vivid dreams that were telling you to, besides the fact that you you said that you were losing a job or a job was ending, was there anything in your sleeping life that was kind of saying to you, hey, wake up?
Yeah, there was one dream. Let me just remember how welcome to no, yeah. It was like three people, like a man, a woman, and they said, "Welcome. We want to welcome you to a new experience." And then they forwarded a man, and I thought, oh, maybe that's my husband. He was gorgeous, but you welcome to. I didn't meet him though. Welcome to this new experience, and I was always haunted by that. I'm going to be experiencing a new experience of what I did not know at that time. But now I'm taking dream studies. I took lucid dreaming. I took a Carl Jung and dreams. We spent half our life is asleep, and we're not aware of that world. I'm not a natural lucid dreamer. Sometimes I have dreams that I write down and everything, but it's not like a discipline that I have. But I think it's amazing when people are really connected to their dreams, have messages. Oh, sometimes, I dreamt of like the Japanese tsunami, and my brother-in-law is Japanese, and I was shaking. I saw the map, and I saw, I was shaking for weeks, and I couldn't tell my sister to say something bad's going to happen in Japan, and then, things like that. I don't want those dreams.
Yeah, we don't want to hear. We don't want to see the bad
things. It's tough when you're
things.
getting that information, but it's so and I think it was coming to you for a reason. You were that premonition, and that's what I think. Sometimes it can be startling, but it's always for our highest, best, and good. Or it bring through some type of information that can lead to some type of healing or prevent some kind of problem.
See, my mom used to always dream when people were going to die.
Okay.
I met people who had that said that's the only psychic thing I have, and I wish I didn't have it. Because you go to the funeral twice and you can't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And it's something.
That's a tough one.
Oh, it's a. Yeah, and that's a tough one. I don't even. They don't even have a name for that. I don't think. Do you know?
No, I'm not sure, but I don't really believe. Like if something like that comes through to me, same thing. I wouldn't feel comfortable telling someone, hey, I'm seeing you have X amount of days or X amount of months.
Oh, God.
That's wow. I can't even imagine that. And I don't think that's like why we're here and why we're meant to do what we're doing. But I do believe if something came to me that someone was going to pass, I might have to think to myself, wow, are there like unsettled, is there unsettled business around this person? Is there something that I didn't bring closure to? Do I need to tell this person that I care about them or I'm thankful for them? Or, that's kind of what comes to me is sometimes I feel like I'll call it our collective, whether it's a loved one in spirit or, one of our guides that comes through. I almost feel like they give us that premonition so we can try to find that closure or maybe talk to someone. Hey, I'm not sure. Have you talked to your brother-in-law in a period of time, or have you talked to, the ex or, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think maybe it gives us that opportunity for
That's
closure.
a nice one. Yeah.
Joan, would you be comfortable if we brought someone on to do a reading or two?
Oh, no problem.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
No, I usually do that. I just want to.
Well, we have callers holding, and we do readings.
Oh, okay.
But I know
we can take a question.
Wait, give me 1 second. I just want to grab my cards just in case I use them.
I was going to say, are you going to use your cards? You're going to use your cards.
Yeah, what we
She's
can do
amazing.
is any more.
She just does it on the spot, and if she gets, it's funny because. There was that show, that Long Island Medium, she just grabs people. Which I don't know if that's true, but
I love doing that.
But do that.
Just to let everyone know, I don't read tarot. I read the 9 to the ace of regular cards the way my aunt read. There's very little information on these cards, or I may do the numerology, or just go to spirit, whatever it is. Okay, let's go.
All right,
so what we'll do is we'll bring a listener
somebody.
on. Yeah, and we'll have them. They can present a question that's something that's going on in their life or something they're navigating. They can present that question to you, and we'll see what Joan has to say for you.
Tell them I don't want all the details because better if I know little.
Well, they're hearing right now this conversation, so they know whatever we're saying. All right, so I'm going to just bring. None of this has been screened. I'm just grabbing the first person in line. Here we go. Hello, this is Mary, Michael, and Joan. Who's this?
Hi, and this is Mary. I'm calling from South Florida, and I love your show.
Thank
Actually,
you.
I'm glad you spoke about Lilydale because that's where I first learned about spiritualism.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow,
that
excellent.
is one of my most favorite places on earth. And I live in Florida, but I always miss Lilydale.
Well, Florida had the sister of Lilydale, Casadega, was their winter place, but I heard they then got divorced.
Oh, no.
They used to be very connected.
Have a winter place that's similar, and I went there, but it doesn't hold candle, so to speak, to Lilydale.
Yeah, it used to be more similar, but not anymore. Yeah.
No, it was beautiful, and it's nice to hear you and your experiences. I have some real concerns around my living situation at this time. And some twists and turns have been coming up here recently.
Wait, some what?
Twists and turns
twists and turns, yeah.
Yeah, kind of in
let me have your birthday. All right, don't tell me too much.
The details,
I'm going to
Mary.
look at what's your birthday? Month and day.
A birth date, 12/8/53.
Let me just do that. 12/8. Okay. 1 plus 2, which is the 12, is 3. That's your creativity and social and your communication. The 8, sometimes you have, the 8 gets a lot of things done, a natural manager, but the 8 also has control issues, okay?
I got control issues from other people.
Oh, you have it from other people. All right, but
especially at this time. Yes.
Okay, let me add the numbers. That's 11. You're in the 1 vibration. You're into new beginnings as of January to the end of this year. So sometimes when we feel like things are being pushed out, it's because they're to make way for the new. So it's possible, and this year's only 3 more months, that you may have to have a new place to live. If you're afraid, make it into a more positive thing, that it doesn't have to be the worst case scenario. I'm your age. I'm born in 1953, so of course we don't want a big change. But let's see, Ace of Hearts came up on the home front. That's not so bad. There's somebody who helps you. Are you still working by any chance?
No, I'm retired.
You're retired, but all right. Somebody here helps you. If you have nobody you know, a son, any kids or anything, there's something you could work out, but it's something to do with, it's about the home. See, the best is you got the wish card and the Ace of Hearts, which is my highest card. I'm going to go that it is rocky right now. You're absolutely right. It's rocky, and it's not fun. It's not fair, but we're going to make it so. Okay, let me just see how she's going to... Are you under pressure by October?
I don't know that there is any deadline, but there was an unexpected financial thing came up this month.
Yeah.
And that could impact October. If that is not resolved, I don't know.
Right. Now, I did read Florida, because of when the building collapsed, now they have to go up to code. And they're charging people like $100,000 if you bought a condo 10 years ago. So,
I'm not in the condo, fortunately.
All right. So let me see. Money's an energy, and don't put the fear out. There is something here where you can. I don't see you. Well, it's a compromise. Okay. This is a tricky one.
There's someone else involved too. There is another person involved with me.
Yeah. This is. I got to take a breath on this one because it's. Don't put the fear. I absolutely put. Everything's going to work out, but do your homework. You have to really see what's happening. You may need a lawyer. Does that make sense?
Not at this
really.
Time.
Not this time. All right. No. I do get you have to compromise, but it's. This is not an easy one. I have like some positive energy, and then I get this like a thorn on your side. It's everything you told me, so I'm not giving you a clear answer. But it does turn itself right side up, but this. Is it a new person that's pushing this financial thing on you?
No, it's an outside event that took place that threw everything kind of out of whack unexpectedly. It was not something that anyone purpose did or anything. Just something
but
that
it seems like, all right, you're going to have to deal with it. And if you have to take a loan or something, I just see an outside thing could be a hurricane, but it's something where get information and get help. Don't try to do this all by yourself.
No, well, it's not so much my income; it's the other person. Something that came, which they're attending to. They're investigating.
Yeah, but you're in. All right, it's going to work out. I'm not giving you what you want to hear because it's still like on the tightrope. But there's something new for you. And the other person, I don't know if they're not feeling well or they lost a job, but there's something there where somehow the angels provide, because what you have is an opportunity for healing of this situation. So I'm going to say it's not going to be worst case scenario, all right? But by October, you'll see how it works out. But you're in new beginnings, and I want you to embrace the new.
But you don't see any imminent anytime.
Nah, it's not. It's just going to be right now fear and anxiety, but then it works out beautifully. All right?
Oh, okay, real good. Well, thank you. It's been nice talking.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mary. We really appreciate you calling in, and you'll have to give us a call back in a future episode and just let us know how everything's unfolding.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Bye.
Thanks.
It's so interesting when I'm listening to you, because when I write down, because I usually write down messages that I receive, and it's so interesting because you received similar to what I received, but you just worded it differently. There was a lot of conflict, and you were feeling all of her the heaviness of it. You were feeling all the heaviness of it.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to know. Yeah, it's better if I don't know the situation, like good or bad, because then I have the cards tell me or the voice tell me. But then when you hear their inflection, that colors it like, oh, I don't want to, it's something, she's very worried about. But it still balances itself out, but it could be a rough road for 2 months. And I hope everything works out.
Joan, would you be up for taking one other question?
Of course, as many as you want.
All right, excellent.
Okay, so before we do that, I just want to say what I received to her. Okay, so I received, I got a connection to, I think it was a husband that passed away. I received that she was connected to spirit, highly connected to spirit. There was something with a pool of water, trouble with a pool of water, which is based on her stability. There's a spiritual message involved in that, and a change was coming, which was similar to what you received. Yeah. I received that she was alone but not unhappy. This is strange, saw a piece of beef, like meat, which signifies being well off with money, like she's okay. Not going to be rich, though, but okay. And then a bird was singing, which is a sign of good luck and news. So something.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I received. Okay, I'll bring on someone else. Let's see who's next.
And we'll see how we're going to do it, either mediumship or...
Yeah, here we go. Hi, this is Mary, Michael, and Joan. Who's this?
Hey, Mary, Michael, and Joan. This is Danny calling out of Wyoming. How's it going?
Hi, what's up, Danny? So Danny out of Wyoming.
Cool.
All right, we got a caller from the other side of the country.
Wow, that's amazing. Wyoming, you just say we don't meet many people in Europe from Wyoming. Wow.
Well, we're a pretty rare breed. Only 500,000 of us in the world.
Oh, really? Oh,
that's excellent. So
but you
Danny,
have a big sky,
Yeah. What question did you have? We have our guest medium Joan Carra with us tonight. So you are the lucky caller that actually gets to ask Joan a question, and then she'll kind of tune in and give you her feelings on it.
Well, as much as I'd love to learn about my love life, I'd like to maybe do something different from the last caller and go into some mediumship.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, let's see who can. I see the number 2. I don't. It could be people come in pairs, like a mother and an aunt, or 2 people who are related. Did you have in the last 4 years like 2 people who passed?
Not in the past 4 years, but in the past year, my aunt passed on, my father's sister, but he passed away in 2012. But her and I were very close.
Was there
she was
another person
101.
who passed?
My father.
Aunt? But that was a long time ago? Okay.
That was a long time ago. But my father and my grandfather, my mother's father, passed away 10 days apart back in 2012.
Oh, okay. So that's the close thing that I saw. Your mother and your grandfather, you said?
My mother's father and my father.
Oh, the 2 guys. Okay, because I saw that too. Two went together at the same time. So let's see. Is one a smoker?
My grandfather was a very heavy smoker, yes.
Yeah, because there's smoke around him. He said that was the world back then. It was, the culture. I get the impression he was from someplace else. Was he from another state or country?
He was from Florida.
From Florida to Wyoming. Wow.
Yes.
All right, hardy man. He likes his adventure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and he likes having like in a way, there's a whole world out there, and I don't want to use the word. In a way, it's like extremes, but I want to experience different locations, different styles, different environments, different people. That's how he was. There's something about someone's leg is very stiff or injured. Your father, your grandfather, father, leg?
Not that I could think of. Grandfather.
Or arthritis in the leg, or no?
No, even my father was 82 when he passed on, and he didn't have any sort of thing like that.
Okay. Anybody living who has a problem with their leg?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. So that may be, sometimes you think about it later. If not, I'm wrong. Or
right.
It pops up. Now, your father says he breaks down in a sweat when he works. So he was a worker, a real hard-working man, right?
He was an attorney, and he definitely was up many late nights.
Yeah, that's what he's showing. Like, he didn't really have fun. Like, he didn't even take dinner or lunch. But he would, and some of it had, you break down with those cases, could be heavy duty. But he said we went to Europe. Did you go to Europe with your family?
I didn't go to Europe with my family per se, but of course I worked in Europe.
Oh, but did your father go to Europe?
He had been to Europe many a times. He was an international businessman as well.
Oh, okay. So he went to Europe, but he didn't go with the family, but you went on your own. You lived there. Okay, because Europe.
I worked on cruise ships.
Oh, wow. I have a client who does, but she doesn't go to Europe. It's more American. That's cool. Something about England. Was that a country that you or your father or grandfather have or parent or mother's side, a connection to England?
Well, that was where I actually was based out of Southampton, England, and that's where I always wanted to go with my father.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so your father was with you in spirit when you were there. In a way, your father says you were right not to follow his path. You didn't have to be a lawyer just because he was, okay? So no guilt about that. And I
was just talking to somebody about that the other day, actually.
Oh. Well, no guilt. That's what your father said.
For validation.
Oh, yeah, no guilt, honey. I think it was your mom also saying no guilt. You had traits of your mother's interests, and not everybody's different. And,
right. I was definitely
you're
into
more
fashion like my mother.
yeah, had talents from your mother's side, and you have this energy of. It's a softness. You like to help people, and you can't, like lawyers have to argue all the time. And it's too much. You just want peace. I just want person to feel good. Jewelry? You good at selling jewelry or something, or your mom had a lot of jewelry? What?
We both have a lot of jewelry.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's one of your trademarks. I'm laughing. I don't know who, maybe it's your mother or, are you a vegetarian in the beef town?
No, not necessarily, but I own a steakhouse.
Oh, you own the steakhouse. Oh, do you need to put some vegetarian thing on the menu?
It's going to be all meat products. It's keeping it that way.
Okay, all right. I don't blame you. All right, why? Who's the vegetarian? Is it a close friend of yours, or someone argues with you about it?
I don't have anybody very close to me that's a vegetarian per se.
Okay. All right. I'm glad. I know you don't have to have arguments. Oh, this is interesting. It may come up, but you don't have to argue. You have your right. And there's plenty of meat eaters there. And my vegetarian friends, I asked my dentist, they're younger than me, why are they losing all their teeth and their gums? And he said the body, they don't have enough protein. The body self-cannibalizes itself, and it eats that soft bone where the gum is. Yeah, even my friend, the two dogs were vegetarians, and they lost their teeth. Anyway,
oh goodness,
I eat a lot of vegetables, but meat is the piano lessons. Oh, nice.
I play the piano.
You're multi-talented, and that's from your mother's side, the artistic appreciation and self-expression. Your father, he was in a different world than you, the way he was brought up, and he just excelled in these kind of things. Why does your father, I know there's a place where, what is it, Seattle, and then there's that little island that you take the ferry. Any place with a ferry, an island, register with you and your dad, or you're in Europe or something, or your mother?
The only ferry that I could think of just is going to Catalina Island when I lived in California, but
oh. Yeah, all right.
But I mean, we were on cruises a lot. We would cruise to islands. That was one of his favorite things to do for traveling.
Okay, but that's more like a ferry. So you lived in Catalina and you went to the ferry. Okay. Bears. Okay. Let me see the message from your dad. And I'm a little confused if you have a brother. I don't want you to tell me yet. It's like are you not talking to your brother?
So I have a stepbrother that I haven't spoken to in a very long time.
Okay, that's it. Okay. And that's all right. That happens. Okay. But it's from your dad's side, the stepbrother?
Yes. He wasn't my father's, but my father basically adopted him. And he's a little bit older than me because my dad had me at 65.
Oh, wow. You're an unusual person. Okay, so the stepbrother. Okay. Yeah, you may have a note for Christmas or something. Hello, how you doing? It's not like you're real buddies, but there's a respect, okay? You have a nice, respectful relationship. You don't hate each other.
We do.
But it's respectful, yeah. How you doing? He has a family and things like that. So your dad's happy, Your mother's very charming, like she has a big personality, and she likes to set the table or have flowers. Is she like that?
Well, my mother is a florist.
Oh, she's still alive, right?
Yes, she's still with us. And very big personality.
Oh my God!
And she was 40 years younger than my father.
She was what? 40 years younger.
40
wow.
years younger.
You could write a book. So she loves the flowers, give her joy and gives other people joy, and she understands it. She knows the symbols of the flowers too. And there's some song, like these old-fashioned songs have the flowers in it. Bring joy, because that's part of what you do at work, because you're to hospitality, right?
Correct.
So. And you're not a phony about it, because you're even when it's scary stuff on the cruise, big waves or seasick, bring joy, because that's what people are there for.
Right, exactly.
Your father's funny. He says, I went to Wyoming because there's no alligators.
And he used to go wrestle him when he would get drunk in the Everglades. My grandfather did.
For real?
Yes.
Your grandfather did that.
My grandfather, yes. He would get drunk and go and wrestle alligators late at night. And I think my grandmother had enough of that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's you got a really interesting TV series here. You're all happy.
Great.
Anybody who's passed is like that. You're totally different than your grandfather. You're not going to do that. Those alligators put some hell of a fight, but so did your granddad. That's amazing. And I keep seeing, those flamingo dancers where they have a flower in their teeth or something. I don't know if it's I don't know. You have the cruise ship, of course, has dancers. Or you like Spain?
So actually, I sold a piece because I was the art dealer on board, and I actually sold a piece called Flamenco with somebody with a flower on their teeth on the cruise ship.
Oh God, I don't even believe I said that.
How's that for a confirmation?
Okay, I gotta go write that one down.
Talk about getting a reading on Mark. I don't even know what to say. Everything you really connect. You're really getting warmed up here, Joan. We should pull someone else on.
Yeah, we're gonna pull someone up, but they're all happy in peace and they love your life. Love
Wonderful.
your life, and you're multi-talented. And your father is like, son, you're doing spectacular. You're enjoying and seeing the world. And you know what? You're living on a boat. You don't have to worry about the lawn.
You're so funny. Okay, so I'm just going to throw in what I received, Danny.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Thank you.
What I received. So I get images. So and there's a meaning behind it. So I saw a tea party, which represents some kind of gift that's coming, and hardship for the future, but at the same time relaxation. You don't like to waste money. You have this need to have internal control. You are going to feel more freedom from restraint, from control. And this is probably not super positive, but a risk of some kind of being some serious accident. I don't like to say that. You do like to be recognized. I saw an animal, a mammal, a furry animal, which represents warmth and comfort you like, and you have very strong instincts, and you should follow them. That's what I received.
Wonderful.
And I'm really
definitely duly noted.
You what?
And very noted with everything. Thank you.
Okay. So how did you find us? Is this just that you put in spirituality? How did you find our show?
I've listened before. I'm pretty sure I've actually called in before, but it's been a hot minute. And usually I work on Thursdays, but I'm not working on this Thursday. So I saw that you were going to be on, and because I got the email alert, and so I thought, well, might as well call in and check out this guest. And the guest name is Joan, and Joan Rivers has been on my mind all day because it's been 10 years since she died. Nice. So it was really kind of crazy.
And you got some great mediumship validation there, too, that your loved ones are around you.
I have to tell you a funny story. So my brother met Joan Rivers in an elevator, and I think he was working for the security for the plane, and she wanted to give him, here's my jewelry that she promoting the jewelry, and he couldn't take it. But it was funny because, so Joan Rivers, wow, she met my brother, and through that, she's put it in your mind. Oh, my God, how crazy.
That is very crazy. Well, I appreciate everybody, and thank you all so much for your
calling.
energy.
Thank you so much, Danny. We appreciate you calling in.
So much.
Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate it. You too.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for listening. Bye. Can you still hear me, Michael? Because
I can hear you.
Okay,
yeah,
I can hear you.
I never know what's going to happen. This has been a great night. He was fascinating story. That's going to resonate with me all night. Okay, we'll pull on one more person, and I know we'll let you go because this is a long time, and you're really putting in.
I'm enjoying it.
Okay, good. We love you, Joan. You're awesome.
I love you both.
Okay, let me just grab, let's see, another number here. Let's find
And the
one.
next caller.
Hello? Oh, let's see. Hello, hi, this is Mary, Michael, and Joan. Who's this?
Hi, my name's Tony.
What's
Hey,
up, Tony? Where are you calling in from?
Oh, hi. Oh, I'm surprised you got me. That's amazing. I'm calling from Texas.
Oh, nice. We just had Wyoming. Now we have Texas. Excellent. So, Tony, we have medium Joan Carra with us tonight, and you are the lucky caller that's going to be able to ask Joan a question.
I know. That is so great. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What question did you have for Joan?
Well, I had a weird dream that I'm curious about. So I know she meant she's a medium, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Believe. Okay. So I had it was a dream that I had that I've been kind of like Googling, trying to put two and two together, and it's been just driving me nuts trying to figure out what it's trying to get to me, or maybe it's, but anyways. So I dreamt my mom, my grandmother, and my grandfather. But the thing is that my mom passed away first, and then my grandmother passed away, and recently this year my grandfather just passed away. But in this dream, my grandfather passed away first before my parents were still living. So I was kind of like reversed, I would say. So I just thought it was like it was an odd dream for me. And I don't know if they were trying to give me a message or something. I don't know.
Now, I'm not, even though I took some classes, I'm not the expert on dream interpretation. So it was backwards. The thing that I heard in my head, do you think your grandfather was depressed for a while or sick? Like people didn't know that maybe he felt dead inside? Does that make any sense? I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right. He was by him. He was pretty much on his own. My grandfather, yeah.
So maybe he felt lonely, and he said, even though I'm alive, I feel dead. I'm not living to the full potential of enjoying life. And then that the message could be for you to live your life fully. I keep hearing that you're a mother. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, and we know mothers are have a big job. And sometimes you get a little stressed out being a mom. Do some self-care. And I know moms don't get naps or much time off, but some things that could make you happy. I of course, you're devoted. The kids come first. But I'm getting the message of don't wear yourself down. Everything always works out. And think of just fun things will lighten the load, even if you train the kids. I get that they're young, yes or no?
One of them is young. I have an 8-year-old.
Yeah. All right, so they can't do much with, here's the laundry, but even help wash the dishes, help me put it in the dishwasher. I'm hearing that I'm just hearing, your grandfather saying, don't live the way I lived, alone and sad. So bring the joy back, and you can. Now, I'm not the expert on dream interpretation, so let's see what Mary says, or Michael.
Okay, I'll say something, and then Michael, if he wants to throw in. Okay, hi, Tony. How are you?
Hi.
Okay, this is what I received. You are fresh scrubbed face beauty, like very wholesome. I heard the word love. You are receiving some kind of power. I saw a woods, like many trees, which represent your inner strength and your secret passions. And I saw a fish. You're trying to bring in a new relationship or a new goal, and this is signifying good things to come for you. That's what I got. What about you, Michael? Anything?
What's interesting, Tony, is I'm curious. Is your name short for like Antonia? Or are you named after an older? Is there female energy around you? Is this grandma, great grandma you're named after, and she's in spirit around you?
My grandma.
And she's in spirit, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. What's very interesting is I sense her energy around you, and that's what she talks about. Like you're named after her, and the name in the tradition. What I sense pretty strongly though is there's some type of like entrepreneurial energy, or there's something about you. I don't know if there's the opportunity or there's talk that you've had about starting up your own business or a small business or taking something you do and making like an entrepreneurial venture out of it. But I almost feel like there's some type of there's like a skill set or something or some type of certification that you could get, and you could turn that into an entrepreneurial small business venture. And there's just a lot of prosperity around that. And I feel like I just have to mention that. And I feel like I just have to mention like the strength and the independence that comes from Grandma, the Antonia. And I just sense that independent pride in you, like she's honoring you and honoring the strength in you and how you're carrying yourself. And I feel like there must be a lot of weight on you as far as you're managing and handling a lot of different people. There's a lot of different, moving objects, I would say, around finances, career, family. So I definitely think you should look into some way you can develop either small business like skill set so you can do your own entrepreneurial type thing, because I see a lot of prosperity around that. Is there anything you can validate or you can talk about around that? Is there like a small business venture or a skill set that you're looking to develop or a certification that could be turned into a small business venture?
Well, I'm procrastinating it, and I'm embarrassed to say it because I have been procrastinating. I'm wanting to go back to school, to return to school. I would like to do maybe like the nursing program or something in the medical field. And it's not that I don't know. I've just been procrastinating. I don't know why I've been procrastinating. And like I know you mentioned it's because I do have an 8-year-old and
I think you're busy, and you're not procrastinating. It's basically the timing is not in your control. And right now, do you also work? You have a full-time job?
Yes.
And a child and school. Well, how are you going to do all
that?
And
a husband.
And a husband, and you probably cook and clean.
Yeah.
Maybe take one class just to get your feet wet,
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking about, starting at least with 2 classes.
Yeah.
And I did bring it up to my husband's attention. Like I go, even if it takes me a year, 2 years, it's okay. At the end, 2 years go by pretty fast nowadays. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what it is. I think you need to empower yourself by putting it into motion, and basically by allowing that energy to kind of manifest and take off. It'll just, even if it's a small step, each day, every month, whatever it may be, that small step will build and compound over time. Yeah, and you'll look back 2 years from now and you'll say, hey, it started as a small step, and now look, I'm certified, or I have this other thing I can do, this other career I can look into. What's interesting is what comes to me, what's interesting is when you talk about the medical system or like nursing or different aspects to that, what you may want to look into, maybe like an X-ray technician or an ultrasound technician. And I feel like it's almost something where like, I believe you can buy the equipment and you could have your own like independent, ultrasound thing where you go in and work with the doctor's offices and work with the hospitals. So there may be something to that would empower your own, you working on your own schedule around, so you have time for the family, you have time for your husband, and it's not like you're completely consumed by the job or some kind of small business or entrepreneurial thing. So there might be something that you can do that's not directly tied into the medical establishment, but is still associated with it. Something like that, a technician, an ultrasound technician. So I would say just look at those aspects too, because I just see positive energy associated with that.
And I want to just interject that Mary said she saw the fish. Now, for me, the symbol of the fish is the Christ-like energy of healing. So you're a healer.
Yeah.
So you have a calling. So don't worry about it. Even if you do it a little later in life, it's going to come about because it's in you, and you'll feel good about yourself. And we thank you for your service, for even thinking about that.
Aww. Well, thanks so much for calling in.
That's my goal. Yeah, that's really my goal. Hopefully,
So now, Tony, you'll have to give us a call back once you're established and you have this new path that's opened and unfolded. You'll have to give us a ring and keep us updated. Let us know how it's going.
Definitely.
Have a great night. Thank you so much, Tony.
Okay, thank you so much, Tony, for calling.
Thank you for taking my call.
Okay,
thank
bye.
You.
Wow. Okay, Joan, why don't you share with everyone your information, and is there anything you'd like to say to our listeners, a message, but tell us what classes you're teaching, where you're teaching them, how you can be reached.
All right. The best is actually email because I get so many robocalls that I have to keep the ringer off. PsychicJoan@Yahoo. PSYCHICJOAN@Yahoo.com. And I'm not teaching it because I'm gearing up for the psychic's favorite holiday is Halloween. It gets bigger every year. It looks like I'm going to be a tea leaf reader. It's a destination high tea is the Plaza Hotel. Hopefully that comes about. And then next year I'm going to focus on teaching anything from numerology, palm reading, energy healing. So I'm kind of low-keyed right now, but I just want to tell people that, just always saying when you wake up, everything's going to work out. And try to, when you get that anxiety, we all do a little mantra of just repeating. It could be a prayer, or you could make up some affirmations. Just go to that and always say, what my worst case scenario, most of the time that doesn't happen. And most of the time when you think people is thinking this of you, they're not. I love it. I hate it when people say someone's manipulative. Well, they don't even know that. But anyway, and really, we have, you have one shot at life. Enjoy it. And there are tough times, but they're temporary.
I love
and the
all
other side,
of that.
they like the other side, They learn a lot. They have peace. They, evolve, and they're here to help you. So you could always talk to them.
And Joan, I hope we're going to have you back on to do some guest mediumship, right? This was fun, Mary Amy, wasn't it? Having all three of us.
I had a lot of fun. I loved having the three.
Well, you know what, Joan? Though you have great stories, and you're very personable, and you connect, and you're a great listener, and I know everyone appreciates that, and you care. It's obviously that you have a lot of compassion. You really hit a lot of truths tonight, and I just sit back and I'm listening, and everything you were saying. Boy, Danny really got some kind of reading tonight. You really connected.
Right.
Now, who was he? I'm trying to remember who was with him following. Was it his father that was around?
His father and grandfather.
Oh, his father. So they were.
And his mother came through, but she's alive, the florist.
Interesting. So interesting.
I just, sending angel wings of healing for the first caller because she's going through a hard time. But it doesn't have to be. It could be she'll get at. It will turn itself around.
Well, every time one of us or that's a healer is speaking to someone that calls in, I think that it shifts some kind of energy within them and around them. And so it shakes them up because we each have a specific vibrational frequency. And when we're talking to them and we care, they're receiving that, whether they know it or not. There's something that's changing because we've spoken to people and then they call back and you can tell something moved through them and out of them. And they went into a new part of their life through a portal, right? And right now, our world is changing in so many ways for everyone because people are becoming awakened. And I'm so grateful you were here tonight. So everyone, you can reach Joan at her website, Joan, right? www.psychicjoancarra.net.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I want to thank both of you,
great.
Mary. This has been too long. We got to meet up again and bring Michael. We'll have coffee. I don't know if he's even in this state. Michael, are you in?
I'm here at the Jersey Shore. I'm enjoying
nice.
Local summer now. Everyone, it's clearing out all the beaches and boardwalks.
But you live there full time?
I am. Yeah, I'm here year round at the Jersey Shore.
Jersey. Yep. Wow! I just saw on the news. I think it's one of the stops on the road, Jersey Highway. They're going to have this huge, the Jersey Hall of Fame, and it's like incredible people are going to be images of them. So Jersey is a gem.
Yes, Jersey is definitely a gem in many different ways, good and bad.
We'll have to grab. I'll have to grab you, Joan, and we'll go down and meet Michael down the Jersey Shore.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll give you a tour of all the hot spots. We can go hang out at the Stone Pony. Go rock out with a little live music.
I'm taking a picture there. I saw Bruce Springsteen the first time he played New York City, and that's Kansas
nice.
City.
There you go.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'll go.
I love it.
No, thank you so much for being a part of Two Psychics tonight, Joan.
And it's wonderful having
we've had a blast.
It was like this balance and these insights. I loved it. I'll come back anytime you want.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you.
We would love to have you.
And I sincerely appreciate this opportunity.
Oh, cut it out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're so silly. And you can also find Joan on social media. Do you have an Instagram page, Joan? I'm trying to remember.
I do. I don't even know what the link is. I could look it up, but I guess put Psychic Joan Carra.
I think I tagged you and everything. So if you
but I always forget to look at Instagram. I always forget to look at it. And Facebook, Psychic Joan Carra, and I have to be more aware of my Instagram.
No, you don't. You're fine. You're doing just great. You're going to do tea leaves at the plaza.
Could you imagine?
I love it. I'm going to visit you. Let me know when it starts.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I love you, Joan.
Thanks so much, Joan.
Thank you.
I
love the audience.
Yeah, we'll hang out soon. Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. Okay, so Joan's energy is contagious, just so you know, when you meet her in person. If anyone goes to her website and you see Joan, you can tell, like, she just, in her eyes, her energy, and she doesn't forget. Like, when she says, let me think about that, she will remember so many details about something that happened years ago. And I don't remember. Like, I met her up in Connecticut a bunch of years ago. Like I said, I had her, I interviewed her, we did some events together, but when I met her on a personal level, she's really a sweetie pie. So, I suggest people check her website out, and I'm looking forward to those teaching. If she's going to teach some of those classes, I want to attend.
Yeah, good stuff. That was fun. That was really fun with all three of us having the energy connect. Giving everyone a fine reading towards the end there.
I love it.
Definitely cool. Yeah. No, that was good. She's got great energy. Yeah, I was just laughing and smiling the whole time we were on the phone with her. Her energy is very contagious, very positive and uplifting. You gotta love that when someone's got that contagious, loving energy that just puts a smile on your face.
Well, I want to remind everyone upcoming. So next week, September 12th at 7:30, we have Peter Hansen, who's an angelic channeler. He's also a teacher, and he mentors those who want to be in, this industry or have a gift, bring it forward. He guides people. There's been many people that have come from him that he's helped. Like, do you remember what I think it was our first or second show we had Shayna Blackmore? He guided her. She's sound healer. Right. Yes. So he is, I've known him for quite a few years, and he's fascinating. He's coming on. He'll offer a lot of guidance. September 12th.
Well,
and
now is he also a sound healer too? He does the angelic channeling?
No.
Okay.
So he channels through, I think it's Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel. So it'll be about angels, but also there's a lot of professional business aspects to what he does. So he helps you. I don't even know, when you speak to him, you'll understand what I mean. I don't even know how to say it. It's very practical is what I'm trying to say. Practical.
Yeah,
but
and
practical in a spiritual sense. It's very interesting.
Cool.
Like he brings you, talks about everything from the Akashic records to light language to angels. We have him September 12th, and then October 3rd, we have the beautiful Estrella, who's a feminine priestess, and she's all about empowerment. And that's
a very cool name.
Yes. It's I believe she's in Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
I'm not quite sure where Peter is, but so everyone pay attention. Now, always you can find information and you can connect to Michael on his website, michaeledley.com, and mine, maryamyofficial.com. I know you have, and you have been doing many events. Do you have any events coming up, Michael?
I do. There's a new facility that's down in South Jersey. Is it Manahawkin, I believe? Whole Body Wellness. We have a Reiki and readings event, which is really cool. And they have an infrared sauna. So I think you also get a discounted coupon to go into the infrared sauna. But that's down at Whole Body Wellness on September 15th. I think there may be a couple spots still open for that. Otherwise, any type of private reading, gallery, small group reading, anything like that, you can always jump onto my Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley on Facebook. You can message me or michaeledley.com, and we can definitely set something up. But yeah, I keep busy doing all that cool stuff, and I am available to do something with you.
Okay, so before we go, we had many callers tonight. I think what do we have, 3 or 4 that we brought on?
Yeah, we did 3. 3 with Joan.
Yeah, 3 with Joan. Okay, so before we go, I'd like to do a little mini visualization to get into some kind of connection to our hearts. And is that okay, Michael, before we go?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, everyone. I haven't done this in quite a while. I'm going to take a sip of water, and then we'll begin. Okay, hi. All right, so let's do some guided imagery, mental guided imagery. I'd like everyone to get into a comfortable position. You can sit or lay down. So let's let out a breath. And let's begin to relax. And we're going to not flush out, but we're going to just let go of everything that we're holding on to within our system, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Because we're going to start fresh here. Because guess what? Something great is going to happen to each and every one of us after this moment. Okay, it's a mindset. Remind yourself, you create your reality. It's all within you. Follow your dreams. All right, so everyone, I'd like you to put all of your weight in your bottom, which is your base of your spine, your root chakra. And I'd like you to imagine that there is a fine, thin cord that's running from the top of your head, okay, your crown chakra, through your body. And you can choose what color you would like it to be or what resonates with you. Is it a clear cord? Is it white? Is it lavender? Is it pink? And this cord is running down through you, passing through your chakras, and it's going down deep into the earth, and it's going to ground you. I'd also like you to imagine that your feet are traveling down into the ground, beneath the earth, and you're wiggling your toes. Okay, so together, I'd like us to do some inhales and exhales so that we can calm ourselves down after every single day. Tomorrow's the last work week day. Every single day, we're carrying around a lot. a lot of attachments, and we're doing a lot of thinking and worrying and wondering and all of that. We're going to let all of that go. And we're going to have gratitude for this moment. We're going to be in this moment because that is where all the energy and power lies in this moment. Not before, not after this moment, but right here. Okay, so we've grounded ourselves. We've released. We've let go. We're relaxing. We're letting go of any tension that we have throughout our body, our head, our face, our neck, our shoulders, our arms, our torso, our legs, all the way down to our feet. And now we're going to do some inhales and exhales together. And we're going to do it on a 5 count, which means you're inhaling for 5 seconds, you're holding it for 5 seconds, and you're releasing it for 5 seconds. And this is beneficial, I promise you, because the more that you calm yourself down, there's more room for remembering. There's more room for concentrating and focusing and seeing what's coming. Your intuitive facilities will work so much better. Okay, here we go. First inhale. Okay, number 2. And last one. All right, so I'm hoping and I'm sending blessings that you've calmed yourself down. And I'd like you to go to your heart space, which is your heart chakra. I'd like you to tune into your heart right now. I'd like for you to ask yourself, what am I feeling? And allow yourself to give back an answer and you accept it, whatever it is. Because when you embrace it, you're going to get through it. And then you're also going to realize what's going on with you. We all have compassion and love in our hearts, and we can spark the light within our hearts by tuning into our heart space. Okay, so I'm going to ask myself right now, I'm feeling pretty content. All right, so let's go to our heart space, whatever that means to you, and I'd like you to imagine that there is a ball of glowing, beaming light in your heart. It's the size of a ping pong ball. And this beautiful, beautiful, glittering, gleaming light, this white light, is spinning. And as this small-sized ball is spinning, it's spinning clockwise within your heart space. It is sending out sparks of light, and it's expanding. And it's spinning, and it's spinning, and it's spinning 3 times clockwise. And you can feel it, and you're accepting it. And it's almost bringing you to a place of wonderment. What is this? Why am I feeling this? And I'm feeling more safe. And now the ball has expanded, and it's gotten to the size of about a basketball. And it's going counterclockwise, and it's moving, and it's expanding, and it's becoming larger and larger, and more sparks of light. And you can feel them touching your organs. You can feel this light coming through your skin, your organs, your flesh, your bones, your muscle. And it's expanding. And now this light, this beautiful, beautiful ball of light is covering your entire physical torso. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's covering your neck and your head and your legs. And you're finding more peace. And you're still in the moment, and you're relaxing. And now it's covering your entire physical being. And you're accepting it. And you're noting, what does it feel like? What is this relaxing, peaceful, calming feeling? And you're allowing the moment to expand. You're allowing the moment to seem longer. And now it's covering your entire auric field. And as it's covering you, you're accepting this light. You're making a wish, something that you've wanted, and you're sending this wish into the light. You're letting it go. You can see it traveling through a doorway, out into the universe. Okay, so let's remind ourselves what this feels like. And we're going to come back, and I'm going to count to 1, and you open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, everyone. Well, did you feel relaxed, Michael?
Relaxed. I'm coming back to my senses.
Okay. Well, you don't have to come all the way back. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone. Maybe we found some calmness there and peace, and we are appreciative of everyone who joined us. Again, this was Two Psychics, episode 28, about metaphysical, and guest Joan Carra. You can reach Joan at psychicjoancarra.net, Michael at michaeledley.com, myself at maryamyofficial.com. We have a Facebook page, Two Psychics Radio. Please follow us. We have merchandise on Spreadshop. And next week we have guest Peter Hansen, Angelic Channeler. Anything before we go, Michael, you'd like to say?
Nope, everything Mary said. You covered it all.
Okay.
Thanks again for listening into Two Psychics. Thanks again to Joan Carra. She was fantastic. And thanks again to all of you out there for making Two Psychics possible.
Okay, and we will take call-ins again next week. And if we missed anyone, we apologize. There was many who called in, and I just randomly take numbers, whoever calls in. Okay, everyone, have a great night. Sending blessings and love, and be well. Bye-bye.
Thanks again. Good night.